Hey, don't forget your brush!
Hi everyone and welcome to my art shed. I'm Kathy and in these videos I'm going to be showing you how to draw and paint our penguins of Antarctica canvas painting. Now this is done in acrylic paint on a canvas board, which is a piece of wood with some canvas glued to it. You can do this on thick paper if you don't have a canvas. So we're going to be doing this in two parts. In part one, we're going to be learning how to draw all the different parts of this picture, and we're going to be practicing first. And then in part two, I'm going to teach you how to paint and how to get these lovely three-dimensional effects. So all you'll need for this part is some rough paper. If you happen to have paper roughly the same size as what you're going to be painting on, that's quite good, because then when you practice, you kind of know how big you want everything to be. So you'll need a pencil, a rubber, and that's about it. So let's get going. So let's have a good look at what we've got going on in our picture. So we've got two adult emperor penguins and a baby emperor penguin. And I've got a nice cold Antarctic scene, although it looks quite warm, doesn't it really, with all the lovely glowing light. I've got some mountains in the background, and then I've got some water with some ripples and all the ice and some rocks. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, practice drawing the penguins. Now, this is my picture, and I'm going to demonstrate how to do it. But remember, when you're doing yours, it's your picture, so you can put things wherever you like. So the best thing to do really is to practice how to draw these shapes, and then you can choose how many penguins you want to put in, what they look like, if they're running or standing, or whatever you like. So let's have a look. So I've drawn some here. And I think what we'll do is we'll have a go at doing our baby penguin first, and then we'll have a go at some of the adults. So you're going to need just a piece of paper. So just any piece of paper will do, because at this point we're just practicing. It's quite important just to practice, because then once you come to doing your real thing, you'll be a bit more confident and you'll know what you're doing. So if you can draw a snowman, then I think you'll be okay at drawing a baby penguin. Because you'll probably see he's got a smaller head than his body, and they're both quite sort of round shapes. So you're going to start off, I might do one over here, so we'll have to go at two different ones. And very loosely, I might do them quite big so you can see, very loosely, now you may not be able to see that, so I'll press a bit harder. Can you see I'm going round and round, and I've drawn myself a circle. And I haven't pressed really hard. And if you go round and round lightly, you'll find you get quite a good circle. And then underneath, I've got another circular shape, which I've kind of overlapped a little bit. Now he's going to have quite a big head, but that's okay. I think the penguin in my painting has quite a big head. In real life, their heads are quite small compared to their bodies. But this is art, so you can make things look different. Okay, so maybe I'll grow his body a little bit. So now I've got these two shapes. I can use them to create the shape that I want and go around the edges. And this time I can press a bit harder. And then I'm going to go back round here. There we go. So I've got a snowman shape there, so I'm going to give it some arms. So just off here, again I'll do it lightly with my pencil, and when I'm happy I'll press a bit harder. It could be difficult for you to see if I don't press hard enough. And they've actually only got really tiny little wings. And then some feet. I find with webbed feet, do the ends first because they're wider. So it's like a smile shape, one there and one there. And then you can put two lines coming out from under their body. And then it kind of looks like webbed. feet. And then the important thing for this baby penguin is that shape he's got on his head. He's almost like he's wearing a mask. And I find the way to do that is just in the middle here, pretend that you're just putting a smile on your snowman. There we go, he's got a smile. And then just above here, he's got those sort of happy sleepy eyes, or two little rainbows. So now it looks like you've got a walking wobbly shape with a silly face. And now what we can do is, we've got these markers, start from the edge of his head and you're going to work your way up, go round that shape, back down and round this shape and back up and round that shape and back down. There you go. And then we've got two little eyes. They're black, so you can colour those in. And a little diamond shape for the beak. And there you have him, your baby penguin. Now, when we come to paint him, this area will be black, so if you want to, you can shade this in, but you don't have to do that. I'll just do it now, just so that this is all a bit darker as well. I think they're kind of grey, baby, grey and furry on this section. And then his feet are black, so. Okay. So you might want to have a go at him a few times. Practicing is good because then you get better and better at what you're drawing. Now if you want to see how I do one on the side, it's very similar. So all you do is the same thing again. Do your circle for the head. And this time it's like a snowman falling over. So you're going to have that round bit at an angle. You can see I'm doing lots of lines, but I can always rub these out later. Okay, as long as you don't press really hard. Now I'm happy with that shape. I'm going to press harder. And that around the head. Okay, so I've got a wobbly shape on its side. Now he's trying to balance himself out. He's flapping away, so he's got one little wing coming off that side and one coming off that side. He's got one foot in the air, so if you remember I said we do the toes first. So his toes would be up here. So I'm going to do that. And then the bottom of his foot narrows. There we go. Now don't worry about this line because his foot is going to be black. So you just colour over it, and later on when you paint, you just paint over it. So you don't need to rub that out. His bottom foot is still on the ground, so his toes there, and then you've got, that's black as well. Okay. And then everything's on its side, so that's smile that we did to make his mask features, and those two sleepy happy eyes, and then join them up. And two eyes, and then his beak. There you go. So there we go, we've got our waddling walking penguin and our wobbly running penguin for you to practice. So have a go at those, and then we'll have a go at the adult penguins. Okay, so for our adult penguins, we're going to do a similar thing, but he's going to be a slightly skinnier snowman than the baby. So I'll put them up there. In fact, we might tell you what, say goodbye to the babies so we can see the adults. So let's start with this guy, because I think he's probably the easiest one. So he's gonna, again, I'll draw him a little bit bigger than that. So this time his head is a little bit smaller. Okay, and we don't really want a hard circle because I'm only using that circle as a guide. And then underneath he's got, so he's gonna look a little bit more like a skittle. There we go. Okay, so that's all very rough. A smaller circle and a longer shape. So he's a skinny snowman. So now from that, I'm going to start working on his body. So I might make his body a bit bigger because otherwise his head's going to be too big. So I'm going to go around the side, make it a little bit longer. There we go, around the side. I'm just going to stop there at the bottom. And then his head is, I'm going to go around the circle, but I made my circle a little bit too big, I think. So what I might do is just use it as a, I'm going to go round like that. So it's almost like a hook. And then this bit, I'm going to go round to the bottom of his beak. So that's the bottom of his neck. And then I can join this up, go that down. So that's a little bit more tricky than the baby one. But with practice, I think you'll work it out. And then some wings. I'm going to come down the side and just tucked away there. And again, that side. And maybe I'll just colour those in black so I know what they are. And then the bottom here, I'm just going to put two little feet shape. Oh, quite dainty. I think he might be on his tippy toes, this guy. And then his head. Now these emperor penguins, they have this lovely yellow bit and it kind of goes up again like a hook and comes around like this. So again, that will take you a bit of practice. It might be good to have a look at some real life, well not real life, you'll have to go to Antarctica for that, but you can always type in emperor penguins into Google and you'll see lots and lots of pictures. And you'll see how black their head is, and then they've got this little yellow bit here. And then the bottom of their, I'm going to put a division here, because the bottom of their beak, I think is kind of an orangey colour and the top's black. And their eyes are so dark and their head's so dark that you can barely see their eyes, so I'm not going to worry about their eyes. Although I've got a lump in the paper, so it's given it a little eye there. That's okay. Makes them look quite cute. Okay, so that's our standing upright, standing to attention penguin. So let's have a go at, shall we have a go at this one on the side? So this one here, I'm going to start in a similar way. So again, now I'm going to learn from my last one. I made the circle a bit big, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. You may not be able to see that. I don't want to press too hard at this point. And now this time, really lightly, I'm going to do my long shape, long oval shape. Now this one's got a really puffing out, it's puffing out her breast there. So I'm going to do that bit first. So with my pencil, I'm going to press a bit harder now to make that sort of tummy shape. There we go. And then I'm going to do the neck bit, which goes out to the beak like that. And then I'll do the top of the beak. And then I'm going to go round my circle, and that's the top of the head. And then I can go down and all the way on the edge of my oval, right down. And I can flick out at the end for a little tail. And I can join that up. Now, just like this guy where he had this bit, it's a different angle now, so it's going to come around here and whoop, go up, and then we'll come down, follow the line of the back, and go back up, and back up. So that's a bit wibbly, isn't it? So that might take a little bit of time, and then back down, and then you can join the back. So I'm going to put the line in for the beak. And then I'm going to put maybe another, she's really puffed out, this one. Wing on the other side. And then this time you're seeing her feet on the side. So I'm just actually going to put a straight line like this. And then you've kind of got, you might want to zoom in closely to that bit. Later on when you paint these, you see this bit's just going to be black, so you don't need to think too hard about getting the feet right, because once you just paint them black, there you go. So I am going to shade it in, so I can remind myself all this is black. Okay, so we've got two different penguins there. Now I think this guy, if you like him, what you can do is print off these sheets, because if you've bought the tutorial from us, then this sheet here will become part of your kit. So you could always print it off and have a go at this guy if you want to. So have a really good practice, and what we'll do next is we will put the whole picture together. Okay, so hopefully you have had time to practice your baby penguin and your adult penguins. And they're the most tricky things to draw in this picture. The rest of it's really easy. So let's have a look at the rest of the scene and what we're going to put in it and how we should best do that. So I've got my penguins standing on some ice, and that's in the foreground, and that takes up probably just under half of my picture. And then I've got a strip here, which is the water, and I've got mountains and sky. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to find this line. So we're going to draw the line for the ice that your penguins are going to be doing whatever they're doing on. And then I'll find a line. If you want water, we'll put another line in, and then you can design whatever you want in your background. So on your practice sheet of paper, it's probably best to practice this one more time, but if you're brave, you can go straight for your picture if you want to. So just under halfway, so I'm going to find halfway, move down a bit, and about here, I'm just going to draw a very light line. It doesn't need to be hard, and this is going to be my ice. Okay, there we go, it's my ice. And then just above there, I'm going to have a line where my mountains start. So all this is going to be water later on. And then on this line, I am going to put in some mountains. Now it's quite icy in this part of the world, so all my mountains are quite jaggedy. But obviously you can put in whatever you like. So this is the area that you can put your penguins. Now I'm not going to spend ages drawing my penguins again because we've just done that. So you can spend your time designing whatever is going to go on in the front of your picture. So I'll just roughly put in mine. So my baby penguin was here, right at the front, running away from his parents, I think. Naughty little penguin. So I would just sketch out your practice, a practice drawing. Put things where you want to. I'm going to have some rocks, because I think this bit you'll be fine at. I'm going to put some rocks. Rocks are just sort of bouldery shapes. And then my bigger penguins were hanging out back here. So I'm just going to do those skinny snowmen shape, just to give you an idea. So don't forget that whatever's in the front is going to be the biggest, and the further away you go, the smaller things will get. So spend some time drawing your picture, designing it, and then you can get your canvas or whatever you're going to be painting on, and then draw it again onto your canvas with a pencil first of all. And then when you're happy with your drawing, what you can do, and you can probably see it on my picture here, you can see the black lines, is you can outline it with a black permanent marker. Now it's really, really important that it's a permanent marker, because if it's not, it will, as soon as you put water on it, it will run everywhere and create a right old mess. So good luck with that, have fun with your picture, and I'll see you in the second part where we will learn how to put all the colour on.
Hey, don't forget your brush!